Okay, we should be live. I am just going to quickly check to see if my audio is all A-okay and we can get this race underway. Oh, yeah, that's not great for Mr. Morning on those medium tyres. Just going to quickly check to see if my audio is good, and then we can get this underway properly. I think it is. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Academy Season 5 here on F1 2021 at Gavra Racing for Round 5 here at Silverstone, the home of F1, this beautiful track, and we've already got some qualifying times coming in thick and fast for this 18-minute qualifying session. 16 drivers line up on the grid for tonight's race. So all 16 of them will be fighting for points and ultimately the race win at the end. Mr. Morning, after that earlier spin on the medium tyres, isn't going to help his chances of starting on those mediums, as they're going to be slightly more worn than he would have been hoping for. Just been able to check my audio. It does sound good on my end, so if it's not on yours, please let me know in the chat. Skeldog, though, goes provisional pole on the red striped soft compound tyres. 27.5, a tenth quicker than Pinty in second place. Tobocco in third with a 27.7, 2 tenths separating the top 3 drivers so far in the first 4 minutes or so. We had 9 drivers who have set a lap so far. A few drivers like Sumi getting invalidated in the first sector. Here comes Duncan through Cop's corner. Really easy to go wide and get invalidated or lose the rear. It's, depending on how much wing angle you're running. Got on the curb a little bit too much, it seemed. Didn't get his lap invalidated or impeded. Opens up the DRS in the run down towards Stowe. Currently in 13th place, hasn't set a time yet on the medium compound tyres. A few drivers on the mediums, most on the softs. Going through the final few corners, let's see what he can do. A nice bright pink purple car, easy to spot on the grid. Going around the final corner now, where can he put his self on the grid? It's 8th place on the medium tyres. Piatti currently the highest medium runner, and Hilstadinho is a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Dutchy by the way. So looks like there's been an incident between those two. Dutchy's off at turn 2. Might have been someone getting out of the way of someone else, or someone, I don't know, there might have been a miscommunication between the two. Yes, this is X90G in the commentary box. Hello everyone in the chat. We've got 11 minutes left to go in qualifying. Hilstadinho, I believe. No, it's the other black car, Nico Zora. No, it's not the... who is coming around the final corner? Who is that coming around the final... Oh, no, it is Nico Zora. Sorry, he's coming into the pits anyway. Was 4.5 seconds down on his fastest time. We're kind of at that phase in the qualifying session where everyone's on their own laps and coming into the pits to put on a new, fresh set of tyres. You can see Duncan is 6 seconds off of his fastest lap. Hilstadinho had that earlier incident down at turn 2. Piatti has just set a lap time on the medium tyres, and Dutchy, by the way, was also off at turn 2. So yeah, everyone's coming into the pits now. You can see the entire grid is pretty much in the pits. Everyone else is going to be going into the pits. It looks like Tootie Boy is coming out on a set of medium tyres on an outlap in his golf themed F1 car. You can't really say McLaren, Ferrari, whatnot, because we use the multiplayer cars here for the Academy. Something different compared to the Freshman, Premier and Super League, and the Weekend League as well, the other F1 leagues we have throughout the course of the week. But yeah, we're 10 minutes left to go in the qualifying session. That should be enough time for drivers to get out on track, do an outlap, flying lap, come back in and do that again for the final 3 minutes left in quali. I'm just going to get the championship standings up pretty quickly, and then we can have an onboard lap with Tootie Boy on the medium tyres. So after last week's race in Austria, I wasn't here for that, unfortunately. I was away. Who took the victory? It was Tobocco, and if you hadn't seen that one, go check it out. Spoiler alert. He won his first race of the season. He's currently in 4th place. Pinty, your championship leader, has not won a race yet this season, but I'm sure he'll be looking to win one here tonight at the heart of Silverstone. Skeldog, currently on pole position, or provisional pole for his home track, has got 2 wins this season, the most wins of anyone currently sets third. Oh, well, this season that is the most wins of anyone this season. Currently third place in the championship with 2 fastest laps to his name. They could be crucial. An extra 2 crucial points in the championship fight. It's 5 points separating the top 3. Pinty on 69 points, Piatti on 68, and Skeldog on 64. Meanwhile, I've caught this lap of Tooty Boy a little bit late, but going through the middle sector now. Luffield, I believe, this corner is where Lewis Hamilton went off earlier on in the season in qualifying or practice. In the run down towards Copse corner, where Hamilton and Verstappen had their famous incident turning in at the 50-metre board. Really easy to lose the back in there and put too much rotation on the front tyres, which allows the rear to step out. Magus Beckett's into Copse, the most enjoyable corners on this track, if not the entirety of the F1 calendar. Hooks it up nicely on the mediums. Really easy to get oversteer, really easy to get understeer as well with the setup. Really easy to cut the corner and validate your time or pick up a time penalty. In towards Stowe, the long swooping right-hander. Really easy to run wide off the curb to Tooty Boy as well to keep it within the track limits, braking at the 100 metre board, sorry, not the 50 metre board, unless your name is Sebastian Vettel, for the final 2 corners, hooking it up nicely on the inside before coming up to the line, and it's P8 on the medium tyre, just goes ahead of Duncan for 9th place. 3 drivers setting their times on the mediums, the rest on softs. It should be an easy soft to medium or medium to soft. It's Silverstone. There's practically no tyre wear. I've done the majority of two seasons ago, the Premier Series race, on a set of medium tyres. 24 laps, I think. It was, I pitted on lap 3. Took mediums to the end from there. Duncan has retired. Fortunate for him, we've got our pitter who's invalidated his time. A few people in the pits as Pinty goes on to provisional pole position. 1/10 clear of Skeldog behind. 1:27.4 is the time to beat. Skeldog's not going to beat that on this lap. He has invalidated. Toboccarin is a 10th up through the middle sector. Let's keep an eye out on this lap time on the red striped soft compound tyre. The quickest, the grippiest of the tyres, but the one with the most tyre degradation. Going around the final corner now. It looks good, it looks good. Doesn't it? Oh, he does improve, sorry. He does improve. Maintains 3rd position. Only a 10th and a half behind Pinty, who has got pole position. Oh, provisional pole, I should say. Yes, I do remember you, Antelope. Sorry, I've just seen the chat now. Teammates from the freshman league. Well, half the freshman season, I should say. From season 1. Where's Whiskey going to be able to put himself up into 14th place, the 130 flat? Puts himself ahead of Dutchy and Mr. Morning, who's coming around the final corner. That's Nico Zora starting a lap. Mr. Morning is on an invalid lap, more than 30 seconds off of his fastest lap. Who else? Dutchy Boy's on an out lap. We've got Pinty, who's just set a flying lap, so he could be into the pits this lap. Let's just keep an eye on... Does he come into the pits? I think he's going to come into the pits. I've only just clocked his times over the 1:30s. Who else have we got? We've got Toboccarin coming through Magnussen Beckett's. He's 2.5 seconds off his personal best. What about our pitter? He's invalidated going into sometime before Luffield. Ooh, who else have we got? Nico Zora. He's on a lap and he's 2/10 up going through the first sector. So let's keep an eye on this lap then. Currently in 13th place, 2 seconds off pole position. And I'm sure he'll be able to find that time and put himself inside the top 10. Going through Copse corner now. Turning in at the 50-metre board. Does he go wide? Doesn't go wide. Keeps it within the track limits. I think that was Sumi improving, going up into 8th place. Knocking Tooty Boy down to 9th and everyone else down in a further position. Through Magnussen Beckett's now a really tricky concept of corners before opening up the DRS on the exit of Chapel. 3/10 up on his personal best before going into Stowe corner. There's yellow flags up in front. That could be drivers coming into the pits. Yes, it is. You can see on the mini-map in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Nico Zora is going to complete the lap. Going into the final corner. He doesn't want to take too much of the red sausage curb on the inside. Can cause the rear to step out. Does improve by 5/10. Goes up into 8th place. 8th place seems to be a popular qualifying position for drivers tonight. Knocks Sumi down to 9th. Tooty Boy down to 10th and Duncan on the mediums into 11th. So he might go out on a set of soft tyres to get himself in the top 10. What about Mr. Morning going around the final corner? He's invalidated. Dutchy, by the way, is 5 tenths up. Can he improve from 15th place? Yes, he can. By 1, goes up into 14th. Knocks Whiskey down an extra position. Zexify saying strategy is crucial for the win. There isn't much strategy here, but there is, but there isn't. If you start on the mediums and you can keep up with drivers on the softs, you're in a good position for the race win. It's an easy medium soft or soft medium. So if you can keep up with those drivers on the softer compound tyres, then you're in for a shout of the race win, or definitely a good finish. Undercut around this track is also super powerful, considering the unnecessarily long pit lane this track has to offer. It just takes so long to get to your pit box, the slowest pit lane on the F1 calendar. Meanwhile, Reggie is out on a set of medium tyres. What tyres he set his fastest lap on? He's got to set his lap on the softs. Thinks he can go quicker on a set of the yellow striped mediums, the C2 or 4 tyre for this track. I can't remember. It's either 1 or the... I keep getting the C1 and the C5 the wrong way round. Just never mind. It's the medium tyre. It's the middle tyre. Why it's called the medium. It's not the hardest, but it's not the soft. Really good race tyre is the medium. I think it's probably the best race tyre on this game. The softs die too quickly at most tracks, and the hards take a while to get up to temperature at a few tracks, but when you do get the hards up to temperature, they can be a pretty decent race tyre, especially at tracks like Bahrain, China, Portimao as well. It's pretty decent round there as well. Let's focus back on Reggie's sector split through the middle sector. He's just under a tenth up on his personal best time, which is currently good enough for 6th place, and he's on the mediums. This will be crucial for him if he can start this race on the mediums. 100-metre board is the breaking point for the final corner. Takes a little bit of the sausage curb on the inside. That might lose him half a tenth or so. Round the final corner. Does improve crucially. It might be by 800ths, but it's good enough for 6th place on the medium tyres with only 2 minutes left to go. So unless he's going to go for another lap, that might be his final one. Dutchy's through the middle sector. He's 7 seconds down. I think that was Liam going up into 6th place on the soft compound tyres. Who else is setting laps? We've got our Pitter going around the final few corners. He's going to be starting his own time. Gav's asking if there's a big difference between the medium and the softs. It's about, Sexify, about 6-7 tenths. It's the same for about most tracks. I think 5-6 tenths is probably the minimum time difference between the two tyres. Sometimes it can go as high as 1.2 seconds for tracks like China, where there's high degradation, but the soft tyres and the mediums, there's quite a big difference between the two. Who's coming on the final corner? We've got Cyrax is starting a lap. We've got our Pitter through the first few sectors. Sumi's on an outlap as well. Dutchy's coming into the pits, so he will not be participating any further in this qualifying session. There simply isn't enough time. Reggie is improving even more on those medium compound tyres. Yellow flags. I think that's Bockerin getting out the way, I think. Let's see if Reggie can improve on his medium tyre time. Going around the final corner, does by 2.5 tenths, goes up into 6th place ahead of Liam, who's going around the final corner and is 4 tenths up on his time. This could put him inside the top 4 if he can hook this one up nicely around the final corner. Where does he go? He lost 7 tenths. Where did he lose the 7 tenths? Was he run out of fuel? Oh, he's run out of fuel. How unfortunate for him. The time is up though in this qualifying session. I think it's a little bit glitched on our end because the checker flags haven't come out for the people in the pits. So there is still a few seconds left for these guys to come around the final corner and start their flying laps. Pinty, who's currently on provisional pole, extends his advantage on provisional pole by 6 tenths. Goes up into first place, 26.9, the first driver into the 26s. What a lap it is from him. Hilstadinho in 5th place coming around the final corner. Can he improve on his personal best up to the line? No, he can't. I think he's starting his final flying lap. What about Cyrax coming around the final corner? Can he improve on his 15th place? He bet he can, up into 6th place with the 28.2. I think this is Liam coming. No, it's not. It's Sumi coming around the final corner. He doesn't improve. Still time left. And there we go. The checker flag has been waved on the 3 drivers in the pits who will not be participating any longer, as well as the drivers who have DNF'd in this session. Normal Reggie, who is on an invalid lap time, going through Stowe. Bokkerin in 3rd place is also invalidated, so he won't be improving. Skeldog on his home track. Can he knock Pinty off pole position? He's on the red stripe soft compound tyres, going through Magnets, Beckers and Chapel. He's pretty much equalled his middle sector. Has a little bit of traffic in the way to Bokkerin. Hopefully he moves out of the way, but he's invalidated on the exit of Stowe. Like I was saying earlier, it's so easy to run wide at that corner. Pinty coming through Stowe. I think he's not on a lap. Yeah, he's not on a lap. He's going to let... who's this going through? It's Arpita who's going into the pits, and he won't be improving. What about Tootie Boy, who's half a tenth down on his personal best? He's on the mediums, currently in 13th place. So much understeer through the final corner. Must be running low wings. I'd imagine maybe like 6 something, maybe 5-7 possibly. I think 6-8 are some good set of wings or wing angles to run around this track. Liam has invalidated and is coming into the pits, and that's also Mr. Morning coming into the pits as well. Cyrax is the only driver on a lap, but he's not improving by 40 seconds. He's currently in the 145s and will be coming into the pits, so Pinty will take pole position here at Silverstone. And it's going to be the Brit of Skeldog who's going to join Pinty on the front row in second. So Bokkerin will start this race in 3rd place, followed by Pinty in 4th, but on the medium compound tyres. That could be crucial for his race if he can keep his front wing intact. Hilstedinho will line up in 5th place with Cyrax behind him in 6th. Reggie in 7th, Liam in 5th, Arpita in 9th, Nico Zora rounding out the top 10, followed by Sumi, Whiskey, Tootie Boy, Dutchie, by the way, Duncan, Mr. Morning, round out the 6 drivers outside the top 10. And we'll get a free set of tyres. Also, the beautiful AI will join us at the end of this qualifying session. But thankfully, Codemasters haven't added them into the race as well, because that would be a little bit awkward. But here is your starting grid once again. And actually, Hilstedinho does have that 5-place grid penalty for the collision early on down at turn 2. He'll drop 5 positions. We'll be promoting everyone else up a further position. A fun fact from Gav. He's the championship leader without having won a race this season. He's been the most consistent driver so far. Definitely with 4 podiums, 2 seconds and 2 thirds, I believe. All he's missing is a race win and the fastest lap. But, well, fastest lap for an extra point. I'd much rather a race win under my name. But we've had 3 different race winners in this academy so far. 5 different drivers to step on the top step of the podium and 3 drivers to set the fastest lap in each one. 3 different drivers, to set the fastest lap. Looks like a clear, bright, sunny day here at Silverstone. Rare sights for us all to see. We've actually had 4 different drivers. 3 different drivers with the fastest lap. I was going to say let's look at constructors, but there is no constructors at the academy. Interesting, only Skeldog and Pinty have actually set will have been the 2 drivers on pole position. 2 drivers who are fighting for the championship. Let's have a look and see what other people are saying in the chat. Consistency is key, as Piero points out. I'd rather be consistently finishing in 5th or 4th every race than 1st DNF, 2nd DNF, DNF, 8th, 2nd DNF. It looks nicer on the leaderboards as well. Anyway, it's not about looks. Well, it depends, but it's about results, and it also depends. Situations can vary. Tootie Boy has been disqualified. Nico Zora and Hilstedinho have also been disqualified for... lots of people have been disqualified. Sumi Whiskey as well will join other drivers on the grid. Their tyres are going to be cold, but there's the predicted pit stop strategy. Standard soft to medium, pitting lap 10 to 12 is the pit stop window. We might see drivers in at maybe a lap or two earlier for the undercut. Let's hope for a good race, certainly indeed. This track usually... See, I don't think this track is overrated, but I think there is a chance of getting bad races at Silverstone. Now, don't hate me in the chat. This is a beautiful track, obviously. I do love racing at Silverstone. But it's very common for drivers to get stuck in the DRS train. Especially if there's like 5 drivers fighting for one position. It's really easy to burn all your ERS and just get stuck in a DRS train. Then there's no overtaking, and it kind of... Sometimes there's an anticlimax between battles, but sometimes this track provides beautiful racing. I remember last season in the Premier, I think it was Napula and Absolute. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think Napula was definitely one of the drivers who went wheel to wheel with someone for pretty much the entirety of the lap. Switchback, side by side, millimetres from touching. Yeah, this track definitely does provide good racing. Downside, DRS trains are common, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see what this track will provide for us today. Keep an eye out on the leaderboard between 9th and 16th as well, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm sure there's going to be quite a few position changes with 5 drivers getting off the poor start on their cold sets of tyres, especially Tootie Boy on the mediums. Let us know who you think's going to win in the chat. First place predictions. I'm going to go for... I'm going to say Pietti's going to win this one on those medium tyres, starting in 4th. I'm not going to put money on it or say anything or be biased or anything, but that's just who my prediction is going to be on for today's race. Let's remove the UI as we build 5 red lights here at the heart of Silverstone. And it's almost time for... Lights out, and away we go. You can see drivers in the midfield getting off to a slow start, but Skeldog's off to a beautiful start. He's already taken the race lead in towards turn 1. It's a poor start from Pinsey as the drivers make their way through turns 1 and 2. Is there going to be any dramas in the midfield? It doesn't look like it. Everyone's made their way through turn 1 nicely. I think there might have been a brake board that's gone off, but Pietti's got down to 6th place on the set of medium tyres, off to a slow start on the harder compounder tyre as the drivers make their way down the straight in towards and we've got Mr. Morning's off in the background in a Kimi Räikkönen style crash from 2014. Yellows in sector 1 for that incident. I don't think it's going to warrant a safety car, maybe a VSC, as Liam and Cyrax are going wheel to wheel in the run down towards Cops. Are we going to have Hamilton Verstappen vibes? No, we're not, as Liam comes out on top in that one. Nico Zora having to concede the position to Tootie Boy. Has anyone got damage? I think that's Whiskey with front end plate damage. Cyrax and Liam going wheel to wheel through Maggers and Beckett's. Cyrax coming out on top. But it's Skeldog who takes the lead at the end of the first lap. Don't jinx anything yet. Here comes Pietri on the medium compound tyres, pushing Liam to the almost to the inside. They're going wheel to wheel into Stowe, but round the outside. A beautiful move up into 6th place. Mr. Moynes left the session. Unfortunate for him. Pitter might try and bite this one to the inside of Liam, up into 6th place. Liam's going to try and set himself up. Try the old switcheroo in towards the final corner where Albon and Magnussen crashed in 2020, I think it was. Meanwhile, Pitter might be looking for a move in towards turn 1 off Pitter. They're going to go wheel to wheel. This contact between the two, as that confirms the 100-metre board has been destroyed for turn 3. Pitter though to the inside, round the outside, gets the move done up into 5th place. Beautiful stuff from him. The leaderboards are a little bit glitched up in front. Simi's already got a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Runs wide on the exit of turn 4. I believe it's turn 6 even, or 5, some corner number, whatever. On board with Tootie Boy now, setting himself up for a move on Sumi. You can see how many cars are in front of him. It's getting a bit compact in this midfield battle. Sumi's got another penalty for track limits, and here goes Reggie. Reggie going to go for a move on Liam, not into Cops. Someone who's going to go for a move is Sumi on Tootie Boy. There might have been contact. Reggie wants, someone ran one. I think that was Reggie. Liam gets the move done up into 7th place. Nico Zora getting ahead of Duncan for 11th place, almost into the points. Hopefully the leaderboards sort themselves out for third and 4th place. Here goes Reggie though, in the slipstream, tucked behind the pink car. Liam's pink car even. Here goes Piatti to the inside of Arpita into Snow. Can he get the move done? Does so. Arpita's going to fight this one back to the inside into the penultimate corner. The battle for 6th place roaring on as Arpita gets the move done up into 5th place. Skeldog gets the fastest lap of the race so far. But the leaderboards, the timing screen, has sorted themselves out. Pietti's got such a good run through the final corners. He's going to go for a move in towards turn 2, 3 even. Not quite close enough to go for any lunge to the inside. 3 drivers on the mediums inside the top 10, owning 6th, 8th and 9th place respectively. Here goes Duncan to the inside of Nico Zora. Gets the move done up into 11th place. Opens up the DRS as we are on lap 3. The drag reduction system, which gives drivers an extra few kilometres an hour down the straight. Tooty Boy leaves the door open for Sumi, but he couldn't quite find the key to unlock the passage in towards 9th place, and has to tuck him behind for 10th for now, but uses all of his ERS to gain the gap going into Cops, who's less than 10% already. I think he's got his ERS stuck open, as you can see down the bottom left. It's just stuck on the green, deploying every little bit of battery. That's what happens when you use it on the formation lap. It's a glitch in the game, unfortunately. Here goes Piatti though. We'll be looking to try and go for a move on Arpita. Opens up the DRS through Chapel, and at this point you're pretty much a sitting duck as he pulls over to the left hand side and gets the move done before we get to the apex of the corner. Meanwhile, the front two are battling for the lead of the race. Skeldog and Pinty fighting for first place in the soft compound tyres, almost pulling out a second gap to Bockery, as Pinty actually sets the fastest lap of the race. You can see how many drivers are just separated by a gap of 5/10 coming around this final corner. Meanwhile, Whiskey has not replaced his front wing. Interestingly, I think he should come into the pits for a set of the hard compound tyres, get that wing fixed, because you lose so much time with wing damage on this year's game. Meanwhile, Pinch though, with the DRS, you can see he's closing that gap out in front. The drag reduction system giving him the extra straight line speed he needs. Not quite enough though to go for a move in towards Liam and Arpita now going wheel to wheel. Liam on the inside, can he get the move done? He's going to have the outside, he's going to get the better run going in towards Cops. He's going to try and send one to the inside. He's going to get a good exit though. He's using the overtake. We're going to get scenes of Hamilton Verstappen into Cops, are we? Not quite. He decides to back out of that one smartly. You can go wheel to wheel into Cops. Never say never. It just it's risky, but you've got to go for these moves if you're to make positions in the race. Duncan trying to go for a move on Sumi in towards Maggots and Beckett. He's not close enough though. Meanwhile, the front two, Skeldog goes defensive to the inside into Snow. Pinty's going to try and hold this one round the outside. Beautiful move from Pinty. Gets the move done up into the lead of the race. Pinty gets ahead of Piatti as well in the battle for 5th place. But Pinty is now your new race leader on lap 5 of 26. Meanwhile, these guys putting on an amazing battle for us. Liam trying to go down the inside and towards the final corner. Is he going to get the run he needs going in towards turn 1? Not quite close enough to go for a move there, but this battle's definitely going to bruise through the rest of this race. We've still got pretty much 20 laps left to go. Nico Zura picks up a 3-second time penalty for ignoring track limits. 3 warnings and it's a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, this could be messy going in towards left field is one of them. I can't remember the second one. Here goes Liam on Pinty there, almost 3 wide going into turn 7 or 6. I need to brush up on my corner names, and apologies about that. But Liam now drops to 7th place. Piatti up into 6th. These guys could be going wheel to wheel into Cops, but I don't think Liam's close enough to go for a move. Riding on board. Didn't get the best of runs through Cops. Piatti is a lot closer to Arpita, and he is to Liam. Could try and go for a move in towards Stowe. Opens up the DRS. This should be an easy pass. And yes, it is. Up into 5th place, further back. Liam looking for a move on Liam. Wasn't close enough to go for a move. Bockering's dropped 2 seconds behind the race leaders. Reggie picks up a penalty. So does Duncan as well. Skeldog as well with a 3-second time penalty for them. Unfortunate for him. might be crucial come the end of the race. Thank you to everyone who's currently watching. Got 21 laps of this race still to go, and trust me guys, there's going to be tons of action here at Silverstone, like there always is. Meanwhile, the front two going wheel to wheel in towards Brooklands. There's contact between the two championship rivals. Skeldog, I think, looks like he's either gone deep or he's letting Pinty go back through. It's getting a little bit heated up top between the two championship protagonists. Further down the grid, Liam's looking for a move on Arpita, runs a little bit wide onto the gravel. Front two making it through Cops safely, looking back towards this battle. That's all the way up to 4th place, down to Reggie in 8th. A few drivers running wide through Cops corner. Duncan as well, closely behind Nico Sora in the DRS range. Skeldog, though, with absolutely no ERS to play with, in 2nd place currently, half a tenth behind your race leader. And this is kind of the DRS trains I was talking about earlier. You've got to be right behind someone if you want to go for a move. Pietri picks up a 3-second time penalty for running wide at Stowe. Is that Duncan off? I think he's might have made contact, or he's gone wide. He's going to be late on the brakes on trying to get past Tutti, but I think maybe a little bit too late on the brakes, a little bit too ambitious going into club. Pietti's less than a tenth behind Cyrax. Liam picks up a 3-second time penalty. Is he going to go for a move? Not quite close enough. Cyrax has gone a little bit deep. You can see different lines being taken by the drivers to avoid the dirty air. Meanwhile, the front two, Skeldog gaining on Pinty, sends one to the inside, promotes himself up into the lead of this race, but for how much longer? Gets the move done round the outside. Meanwhile, Pietri trying to go round the outside of Cyrax, who's also under pressure from Arpita, who's going to have the inside line going into left field. Liam could make this 3 wide. There's contact, and Liam is sent spinning off into the barrier. He keeps it out of the barrier, fortunate for him. Cyrax and Arpita are going to go wheel to wheel into Cops. Arpita on the inside gets the move done up into 5th place. Hugely unfortunate for Liam though. Looks like he's overcooking his tyres now, down into 4th place. I think he kind of went for a gap that was just going to close in the end. Meanwhile, Pinty going side by side with Skeldog, going past Skeldog on the exit of Chapel with the aid of DRS. Meanwhile, Reggie in the DRS of Cyrax is in the DRS of Arpita. All 3 drivers closing in on one another. Earlier incident reducing the amount of cars in that personal battle. Meanwhile, Duncan, Tutti Boy going down the inside of Duncan, Hilsedinho going down the inside of Sumi. In these 2 battles on the track, we've got Tutti Boy going around the outside of Duncan, maintaining 8th place. Sumi just has to settle in for 11th place for now, just outside of the points paying position. Cyrax picks up 3-second time penalty for track limits. Front 2 though, they're going to go at it once again with the aid of DRS down the Wellington Straight. Skeldog not close enough to go for a move. This time around, the gap's starting to open up just a little bit between a few of these guys. Reggie gaining on Cyrax in towards Brooklands. And I think Cyrax has run a little bit wide here. This could give Reggie the opportunity to go round the outside in towards left field. Gets the move down up into 6th place. A good, beautiful move from him. Duncan as well to the inside of Tutti Boy. 3-way fight, between these guys for 8th place. No one close enough to send one in towards Cops. Tutti Boy almost looked for it, just letting Duncan know that he's there and he will go for a move. Meanwhile, Skeldog is closing the gap on Pinty with the aid of DRS, but he's not close enough to go for a move in towards Stowe. As Tutti Boy picks up a 3-second time penalty. Cyrax with the DRS on Reggie to the outside. Can he make this one stick? Reggie's later on the brakes. They're still going to go wheel to wheel though. Lovely stuff from these 2. Cyrax to the inside, gets the move done up into 6th place. Reggie on his medium tyres might have a little bit more grip than the soft runners at this stage. The softs could be starting to wear out a little bit. We're not far off the scheduled pit stop window. Skeldog though is now outside of the crucial DRS detection point. He's using all of his overtake to try and close back to within the 1 second you need to be within. Reggie though is definitely within that 1 second window. He's within 4 tenths of the car ahead. We'll be getting the extra straight line speed with the aid of DRS, but it's not enough to go for a move in towards Brooklands. Right, has run a little bit wide, but that's going to give him a good run through Woodcote in towards Copse. Is he going to use his overtake? Not going to use any of the battery deployment. Close the gap in towards Copse. Really fun corner to go wheel to, especially, well, just with these modern cars as well. Be interesting to see what this track would have been like back in the 50s, 60s and 70s when those cars had less downforce. Copse must have been scary. Some Maligans and Beckett as well. And the track has changed quite a bit though since those times. Reggie closing in on Cyrax, not close enough though. Skeldor comes into the pit. Hilstadinho gets past Tooty Boy comfortably in towards Stowe with the aid of DRS. So Skeldor trying the undercut on Pinty, the first driver to come into the pit. Promotes everyone up a position. Reggie picks up a 3-second time penalty and it's soft compound tyres for Skeldor. I think he's going to feed out behind Dutchy, by the way, in 13th place. So lap 9, like I was saying at the start, I might have seen a few drivers pitting a lap earlier than the scheduled pit stop window, which was lap 10 to 12. So it's not surprising to see him coming on lap 9 to try and get that undercut on the leaders. Hilstadinho is closing up behind Duncan. Interesting lines being taken through Luffield. I think that corner's called Luffield. Yes, it is. Just had to double check. Meanwhile, Reggie's run significantly wide, almost entering the French border, running wide through what quarters at Copse. How could I forget? Alpita picks up a 3-second time penalty, going through Maggots and Beckett's. Hilstadinho with the aid of DRS tucks into the slipstream, going down the Hanger Straight. And gets the move down the inside, in towards Stowe, up into 7th place, easy as you like. And now we're seeing drivers coming into the pits, reacting to Skeldor, who came in a lap earlier. Meanwhile, medium tyre runners will be staying out an extra lap. Duncan and Tooty Boy as well, staying out. Tooty Boy is actually on the medium tyres, so Duncan is now the highest driver on the red striped soft compound tyres. Where does Skeldor come out? I can't find him. He's currently in 6th place. Where is Pinty? Still in the pits, and Skeldor has got the jump. The undercut has worked dreams for him, and now he's up into the net lead of the race on the set of the medium tyres, but he does have Pinty 9/10 behind. Few drivers, Sumi and Dutchy, actually going for the hard compound tyres, so they will get more grip towards the end of the race. They might struggle for the first 5-6 laps compared to the other drivers on the mediums, but it's going to be interesting to see how that strategy works out later on. We saw people at France pit very late on for a set of the soft compound tyres. Some people said it wasn't the best choice if they just couldn't close the gap down in the final 3 laps, and maybe they should have gone for the medium. So those guys maybe looking back to 2 races ago to that French Grand Prix and opting for the hard compound tyres over the mediums to have better ending, as Cyrax has retired. You can see his car stranded on the right hand side, and we've got a safety car here on lap 11. This promotes the top 5 drivers to come into the pits, put on a set of soft compound tyres. Pietti's just missed it though. He's gone through turn 1. This is exactly what happened to me in the Premier Series 2 seasons ago. A safety car came out at pretty much this exactly the same time. Whiskey stops himself from getting lapped just about coming out of the pit lane. What tyres? Is it going to be hards or softs for these medium tyre runners? It's hards for Reggie. What about the rest? We've got Duncan in for mediums, scheduled pit stop for him. Tooty Boy's being held in the pit, but he's going on to set with the medium hard compound tyres, the white striped hard compound tyres, which should comfortably get to the end of the race. But Pinty is caught up to the back of the Aston Martin safety car here at Silverstone. I think the second safety car we've seen this this season, one at Portimao. I don't know if there was one in Austria. Unfortunately, I was away for last week's race. I don't think there was one in France. I don't think there was one in France. But this is unfortunate for Pietti, because now all these guys are going to be going full speed, catching up to him, and he's stranded behind the safety car on a set of worn medium tyres. This has ruined his chances of winning this race. He is going to be able to pit for softs or mediums though, hards however. Let's see what everyone's saying in the chat whilst we have this safety car. I've got to scroll up quite a bit because there's been so much action that I've missed everything. Skeldog is into the pits. Yeah, I've got to scroll up. There's a lot of activity, guys, tonight. I'm still scrolling up to the last time I saw the chat. Here we go. This is from the start of the race. Hello, everyone. Jamie Cyril, Piero, Robert Godfather, Crosson as well. Gonzalito. Good luck for your exam tomorrow. I've got exams in 2 weeks. That should be fun. Quite important exams. I need to do well in them, otherwise I won't be getting into uni. There's contact between Pinty and Skeldog, and that's going to be a 5-second time penalty. There it is. Skeldog with a 5-second time penalty, despite Pinty rear-ending him. Pinty doesn't get the time penalty. That could be removed by the stewards after the race. Piero 2+2 is 4. Congrats for that. It gets a little bit more complicated than that, unfortunately. Yeah, assuming using his ERS from lap 1 to the last without turning it off, he might have had the same in Austria. If you use the overtake button on the formation lap, there is a glitch where it sticks on for the whole race. I think if you leave and join back it fixes, but it's probably not worth it in a race unless it's a safety car. What a move could be overtake of the week. I'm not sure what move, but I'm sure it'll be setting for overtake of the week. This race will be decided by the last lap if both drivers don't make a mistake. Piero versus Jackson, the Super League. Commiserations for Liam as well after his earlier spin. Safety car in this lap. There's so much activity going on to the chat that I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it all in time. Pit lane loses you so much time. Yes, grid is closed, definitely. So I'm trying to read this as quickly as I can before we get onto green flag racing. Hello everyone. Riding on reverse, eyes closed. That should be fun. Meanwhile, Skeldog is going to lead the field away, and he's kept Pinty napping a little bit. The gap's now 1 second out in front, and he starts lap 14 of 26 with Pinty in second place. That 5-second time penalty though might be removed after the race by the stewards after the collision under the safety car was not Skeldog's fault. I don't know if there was a brake check in there. We'll have to wait and see what the stewards say about it. Meanwhile, Tutor Boy close on the back of Duncan after the safety car restart. He's timed this one well. So is Hilstadinho capitalising. Trying to go for a move round the outside. Not going to get DRS just yet. We've got to wait a few more laps for that to be enabled. Gav just confirmed there was no safety car in France. With yellow flags in sector 1. That's Piatti off on the soft compound tyres, and the driver who I thought was going to win the race. Well, there's another incident of commentators and myself commentators cursing. He's lost it again. He's overheated those soft compound tyres. So he needs to keep it cool and calm, collected on the throttle. Cool down those tyres. They're going to be burning hot. Reggie's ran a little bit wide through Cops. Not the first time tonight. Duncan gets a little bit twitchy on the rear end. Skeldog has pulled out a 1.4 second advantage. Start of the safety car restart. The start he needs. Meanwhile, Hilstadinho is using as much overtake as he can to close into the back of Tutti Boy. Tutti Boy doing the same to maintain his advantage in 7th place. Does so going through Stowe. Meanwhile, Skeldog comes around the final few corners to start lap 15. He's used up all of his overtake he can in this lap. Sets the fastest lap as well. Could get another point at the end of the race if the A keeps it by the end of the race and B finishes inside the top 10. He's currently leading this race at the minute. The grid is so closely contested after this safety car restart. Hilstadinho almost hitting the back of Tutti Boy. He's going to go for a move, or indeed look for a move to the inside. Wasn't close enough though to go for it. Might try something though in towards Lovefield and Brooklands. Brooklands and Lovefield, sorry. He's gaining down the straight. Might be a little bit of ERS used as well. Maybe a little bit less wing angle down the car in front. Liam and Sumi now going side by side. Almost contact between the two. There might have been contact between those two. Hilstadinho gaining on Tutti Boy in the run down towards Cops. I think we've only seen one move in towards Cops this race. And someone's off that. Sumi down at the exit of Cops. He's got no front wing. That could be a virtual safety car for the debris. It is off the track into the barrier, so I don't think the game's going to warrant one. Meanwhile, Duncan going to the inside of Reggie, Hilstadinho and Tutti Boy battling behind. Duncan gets the move down up into 5th place. You can see in the rear wing, Reggie is now behind. DRS has been enabled as we've had the number of laps after the safety car done for the DRS to be enabled, which means all these drivers here are going to get aided with the DRS, the drag reduction system. Two DRS zones down this track. One is right here actually. Duncan's going to have the DRS on our pitter on his fresher medium compound tyres, pitting under the safety car. Piatti sets the fastest lap of the race on those soft compound tyres, bouncing back from that spin earlier on. Is there enough laps though to close down the gap? He's going to have to hope for a safety car if he's to be aided by that. Hilstadinho gaining on Reggie in the run down towards Cops. He's using his overtake. He's going to tuck in closely behind, coming through Cops corner, maybe to the inside of Cops corner. Reggie once again runs wide, through Cops, and that's allowed Hilstadinho get the move down up into 6th place. Was that tactical though? Because now Reggie's going to have the DRS through Chapel. Runs wide though, that's going to compromise his line. Meanwhile, Duncan's got the DRS on our pitter, who doesn't defend the inside line. Leaves it open for Duncan to go down the inside, up into 4th place, behind Liam getting the move down on Tutti Boy. Down the hanger straight in towards Stowe, up into 8th place. Will be securing crucial points. Tutti Boy though, he's going to fight this one back on the hard compound tyres. He's gone late on their brakes into the penultimate few corners. Liam with a switchback move, he can't try to pull it off in towards the final corner, but though he's got a good run in towards turn 1. They're going to go wheel to wheel in towards turn 1. You can just about see them making it through cleanly. I think Liam backs off there as Tutti Boy has now got almost a second advantage. 5/10 though, separating the front two. And we've got yellow flags in sector 3. I think that's Piatti, who has retired from this race. So that's my prediction for your race winner out of this race. Commentator's curse striking once again. 3 drivers have retired from this race as we're now on lap 17, halfway through lap 17. Thank you to everyone who's currently watching as Liam is closely following Tutti Boy going through Cops corner. Meanwhile, the front two separated by 4/10. Pinty, it didn't get the best of runs. We've got yellow flags in turn 1. I think that's Whiskey who's lost it down at on the entry of turn 2. I'm just going to keep an eye on Pinty, who's gaining on the back of Skeldog with the aid of DRS. Skeldog has a 3-second time penalty plus a 5-second time penalty that could be removed. Duncan going to be defending the inside from our pitter behind. He might send one into the final corner, but he's not close enough though to go later on the brakes, trying to avoid what could have been an incident like Vettel and Verstappen. Yeah, Pierre, you say too much messages for me. I've only just read that now. I don't know when that was sent. Hello Ted in the box. Hello Ted in the box. What? Ted saying, sorry, nice to see you in the box. So I don't know why. That came out really weird. Hello, Ted in the box. Not what I was anticipating on saying, but Ted saying, nice to see you in the box. Thanks, Ted. Appreciate it. Meanwhile, Liam gaining on the back of Tootie Boy. They're going wheel to wheel. Tootie Boy on the inside. He's late on the brakes. Gets the move done a little bit deep. It's going to allow Tootie Boy to try a switchback move. Can he hold this one round the outside through Luffield? I think it's, yeah, Luffield. Gets the move done up into 8th place. Beautiful stuff from Liam. Skeldog's pulled out a 1 second advantage to Pinty behind. Crucial gap for the DRS detection point. Nico Zora's got a 3 second time penalty for track limits. Only 5 forward drivers, without track limit penalties. Pinty to Bockeran, Hustadinho and Dutchy, by the way. Whiskey picks up another 3 second time penalty and Asetti goes into the pits from a set of medium tyres. Tootie Boy gaining side by side is now ahead of Liam with the aid of DRS, now up into 8th place on the hard compound tyres. Working wonders for Tootie Boy after the safety car was deployed. Didn't really have much, well, any alternative to go on. Softs might have been a stretch going to the end of the race. Meanwhile, Liam and Tootie Boy are going to continue battling in towards turn 1. Liam backs out of that one. Getting flashbacks to a few laps ago, there might have been almost a collision between the two, which is why he dropped off initially. 10 lap old hards, 10 lap old mediums to 6 lap old hards. Fairly even tyres, I'd say, at this stage of the race. I'd probably want to be on the mediums, however. Meanwhile, Liam with the DRS, that was close, almost contact between the two, as Liam goes down the inside and Duncan's off. Down at Luffield, he's dropped 2 positions from 4th to 6th place. Is there any damage to his front wing? It doesn't look like there is. It's hard to tell. No, there isn't any damage. No damage from the 2 drivers ahead of him either. There might have been contact. He might have tried to send one down the inside. I'm not too sure. I'm still scrolling back down through the chat, by the way. That's just how much activity. There we go. I've caught up. Is the same Skeldog as last night in the weekend? It's flying tonight. I'm not too sure. Meanwhile, Arpita and Hustadinho getting past Arpita down the hanger straight. Pinty though has caught up to the back of Skeldog. If we assume that the 5 second time penalty will be removed, Skeldog needs to pull out a 3 second advantage to Pinty behind. Otherwise he's going to finish his race in 2nd place. Let's have a look at the time penalties for now. We've got Skeldog with 11 seconds actually, so he's got 2 5 seconds penalties fired somewhere. I'll check the race director after the race to see if one of those was a speed in the for speeding in the pit lane under the safety car. Unfortunately, it's pretty clear cut if you're speeding in the pit lane or under the safety car. There is a delta. You must follow, and if you don't follow the delta, you get a time penalty or a drive-through. So Skeldog might not win this race, unfortunately, with a significant amount of time penalties, as Reggie's opted for corner cutting down at Brooklyn, this is Luffield. Might have been contact between him and Liam. I was too busy looking at the time penalties. Let's change that back over to the tyres. But we might see a position change for the lead of this race on the track. Pinty with the DRS enabled is tucked in the slipstream, gets up into the lead of the race. That was pretty easy for Pinty with the slipstream DRS. Skeldog didn't really defend the inside line. He pulled over. Meanwhile, Reggie's going to go for a similar move to the inside. Gets the move done before Stowe. And you're kind of hopeless in that situation where the driver behind has the DRS. There's not much you can do apart from get a good exit through Chapel. Duncan taking a little bit too much of the sausage curb on the inside of the final corner, penultimate corner, sorry. Currently trying to chase down Arpita for 5th place. So we've got a nice battle forming here for 4th place. He's caught back up to Arpita and Hustadinho after the earlier incident. Not sure what happened between those guys. Don't know if there was contact between anyone. But the DRS is going to be enabled. The front 2 already through Luffield and Brooklands and out of the DRS zone. Liam trying to go for a move on Reggie, taking a wider line to try and cut back in for the second half of the corner. Beautiful camera angle here. So he's going to go for it. He's close enough. He's using the overtake. He might try and go for a move into Cop's corner here. Is he close enough? He's not close enough. Reggie's using the overtake as well. He's actually alongside into Cops. Wheel to wheel into Cops. Reggie's gone off to Narnia and maintained 7th place for now. How much longer though? Here goes Skeldog though, looking for a move for the lead to the outside of Pinty, who defends the inside line. But still these two battling for the lead of the race despite Skeldog's time penalties. Duncan not close enough to go for a move for 5th place. He's running a little bit wide though through Stowe, a little bit too deep into Club as well. It's not going to help his efforts to try and close down our Pitter for 5th place in this race. Front two separated by 4 tenths, but in terms of time penalties, that gap's 11.4 seconds. How much time penalties can really change things. And we're going to check the race director after the race though to see what those penalties were for. Yellow flags and sector 1. Is that Tabokaran? Who is that? Who is off at turn? Oh, it is Tabokaran. That was close between our Pitter on the outside. Here goes Duncan though to the inside with the momentum and the DRS. Tries to go down the inside. Tabokaran though to the outside. There's contact with our Pitter who hits Duncan. And our Pitter is sent round down at Luffield. No wing damage. Yellow flags have been deployed. And he rejoins onto the track dangerously. Thank God for the ghosting system. That could have been an almighty accident between Tootie Boy. That would have definitely knocked off his front wing. Probably would have blown Reggie's rear diffuser. Our Pitter's rear diffuser, sorry. That was close. Meanwhile, Pinty and Skeldog going wheel to wheel through Stowe once again. Pinty maintaining the lead of this race. Here goes Reggie on Liam though. To the outside, gets the move done before Stowe. The DRS super powerful, maybe running less wing angle than Reggie behind our Pitter, getting the move on Tootie Boy. Will be trying to close up back up to 4th place at least where he was fighting before. There's not long left, 4 laps to go in this race. Thank you Star Kicker for subscribing with Prime. Lovely stuff, you love to see it. Meanwhile, the gap out in front is closing with the aid of DRS down the Wellington straight. Is Skeldog going to send one to the inside? He is going to send one to the inside. A beautiful move from Skeldog. Gets up into the lead of the race on the track. But if you add time penalties, he's not going to stay there for much longer, unfortunately for him. Liam and Reggie going wheel to wheel at the end of the Wellington straight. Liam gets up into 6th place, knocks Reggie down to 7th. Those medium tyres probably handling a little bit better than the hards as Tabokaran goes round the outside of Hilstadinho in towards Cops. Doesn't get a good run on exit though. Here comes Hilstadinho, might try and fight this one back into Maggers and Beckett's. Meanwhile, the two leaders now going wheel to wheel down the hanger straight in the run down towards Stowe. Pinty gets the move back up into the lead of the race around the outside. Knocks Skeldog down to 2nd place on the track. Here goes Reggie though with the DRS. Liam is defenceless going down the straight with the DRS. Gets the move done up into 6th place. Not much he could do there. Dutchy Boy gaining on the back of Nico Zora. The battle for the last points paying position. He's got the DRS. He's going to deploy his overtake button. Here we go. Nico Zora defends the left hand side of the track. Here goes Dutchy to the inside. Gets the move done up into 10th place. Our Pitter picks up a 3-second time penalty for ignoring track limits. Almost looked like Dutchy was going to swipe Nico Zora there, running a little bit wide through Stowe. Skeldog with the DRS, not close enough to send one in towards Brooklands there. What about Hilstadinho? Can he fight back on the back of Tabokaran after Tabokaran's earlier mistake? To be honest, if Skeldog can pull out another second, he can finish this race in 2nd place. The gap 11 seconds. It's getting close between those points paying positions. Liam and Reggie going wheel to wheel and towards Woodcote now. I think it's Woodcote. Yeah, I think so. Here we go though, into Cops. It's not close enough to go for a move, but I'm sure into towards Stowe. Probably the best overtaking opportunity on this track. I think it's the longest straight. You're following someone through trap. Oh, Skeldog sends one to the inside. They're going to go wheel to wheel through Stowe. There's contact between the two. Skeldog almost ending up in the barrier like Marcus Ericsson. in the Sauber all those years ago, but they're still going to go will to will through the final 2 corners. These two providing some great racing, even though the time penalties will say otherwise towards the end of the race as they start the penultimate lap of the race. They need to stop battling here because Skeldog's not going to finish this race on the podium if he keeps this up. We'll check time penalties in a minute. Actually, no, we won't check time penalties then. It might make things a little bit more interesting. Gavra, though, has the pace to maintain 3rd place for now. Liam picks up a 3-second time penalty. Here goes Pinty, though, once again to the inside. Can he make this one stick this time? There's still wheel to wheel in towards Luffield now. It's getting a little bit overcast. I don't think there's enough time for it to rain. That would have been some drama for the last few laps of this race, and it's the rain here at Silverstone. Wouldn't be surprising though. Reggie defends the inside line to Liam, who's going to try and work this one round the outside. Doesn't have the track position to try and go for it. Does see some room on the inside. Throws the back end out. Not ideal. Meanwhile, the front two continuing to battle. Going through Chapel now. The overtake button is enabled on Pinty's green and black car. Skeldog defends the inside line. He pulls over to the left-hand side of the track. They're going to try to go round the outside and gets the move done. Back up into the lead of the race. What a battle these two are providing here tonight. Hilstedinho gaining on the back of Tibocco with the aid of DRS. Liam just 6/10 behind Reggie. Won't be close enough to go for a move. I don't know why Skeldog's fighting this. He needs to just... Well, I guess with the DRS he's going through, but he needs to pull out that gap. Let's change it to gap to leader. But you can see that with the time penalty, he's going to finish in 4th place at this rate. He needs to find a second on this final lap. Here we go though, down the Wellington Straight for the final time for these guys. Pinty defends the inside line, and it's going to be enough to keep him ahead going into Brooklands and Luffield. Let's have a look further down. Reggie and Liam, the second closest battle on track. In the run up towards Cops though, both drivers low on ERS. Going back to this battle for 6th place, Whiskey picks up a 3-second time penalty. Track limits. Liam goes a little bit deep in towards Luffield, and that's going to compromise his run into Cops. Meanwhile, the front two, what a battle this would have been if they had no time penalties. On the final lap, it's going to be DRS open for Skeldog. Drama could still unfold here going into Stowe. He's going to have the outside line. Can he hold it round the outside? They're still going to go wheel to wheel in towards the final few corners on the final lap. Skeldog to the inside. Can he get the move done on Pinty? They're still going to go wheel to wheel. There's contact on the final corner. Pinty spent round. Skeldog's going to win this race on the circuit. Where's Hilstedinho and Tibocco? He's going side by side. Hilstedinho's round. What is happening at the final corner on the final lap? Duncan goes through as well. Pinty wins the race. Skeldog in second. Duncan in third, Tibocco in 5th, the 4th place now. Duncan goes down to 6th with the penalties. Hilstedinho up into 3rd, Pitter in 5th, so now Duncan down to 7th. Tootie Boy in 6th, Reggie in 8th, Liam in 9th. Nico Zora and Dutchy battling the penultimate corners. Well, what is happening? They're going wheel to wheel through the final corner. Who's going to claim 10th place? Oh, it's going to be Dutchy on penalties, Nico Zora on the track. Wow. Sumi going through Magas and Beckers will finish in 12th place, but oh my days. What just happened? What just happened? Pinty was sent round at the penultimate corner going into club, wins the race. Then I think it was Hilstedinho was sent spinning by Tibocco through club as well. Then Tibocco dropped a load of positions going through the final corner. Finishes in 4th place in the end. Penalties had a massive final say in the standings. Hilstedinho gets the in-game driver of the day. Let me know who your driver of the day was in the chat. But Pinty somehow wins the race. What a battle though the front two provided. You just had that feeling it was going to end in drama. It's a Norwegian 1-3, but wow. Wow. What a race. I think that's got to be the best race of the season. Action throughout. We were talking I was saying at the start how this track provides great racing, and I was afraid of the lack of overtaking due to the DRS trains. It's just the nature of this. Wow, what a race. What a race. Piatti picks up the fastest lap with a 1:29.1. Won't get the extra point for finishing in 14th place and outside the top 10. But here is your finishing grid for round 5 here at Silverstone. Pinty wins the race and picks up his first race of the season, extends his championship lead. Skeldog in second place will be gaining points on Piatti, his championship rival, who was scoring no points today. Lewis Didinu in third, Booker in fourth, Arpeta in fifth, Tutti Boy in sixth, Duncan in seventh, Reggie in eighth, Nima ninth, Dutchy in 10th, Nikrosora in 11th, Sumi in 12th, Whiskey in 13th, Piatti in 14th, Sarek drifted Mr. Morning in 16th. Those three not finishing. I want to see what Skeldog's penalties were. So we've got a 5-second time penalty, and then another 5-second time penalty. That might have been for a collision. Interesting. So I'm sure the stewards will take a note of those 5-second time penalties. I'm not sure what they were for. One of them was definitely under the safety car. I don't know whether the other one was speeding in the pit lane. Collision penalties or another collision under the safety car. Stewards will have to take a look at that. Meanwhile, that has been the end of a stunning Silverstone British Grand Prix. Let's just have a look to see what the chat is saying to the end of that crazy biblical scene, some might say. Oh no's being said. Congrats to the podium, what a race. If Skeldog's time penalties get removed, it's going to be interesting to see where he finishes at this. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, LLP penalties might come into play. If anyone makes a claim, type in !claim in the Discord chat if you want to make a claim on another driver. But do consider making a claim, as it can have massive implications on the championship. That leads me on to my next point. Thank you, Gemby, Surreal, Sexify, Piero, Robert Godfather, Gav as well, everyone in the chat. Great commentary, thank you guys. And well, hopefully tomorrow, the day after, and the day after that provide great racing for the Freshman, Premier and Super League respectively. Thank you everyone for joining me here tonight at Silverstone, but make sure to join me next week for round 6 at the lovely Hungaroring. Tricky to overtake, but not impossible, and if these guys provide as good a race as they do here at Britain, they should make overtaking look easy. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned this week for this week's races. No GT Sport this week. Join us next week for Group 3 and that. Silverstone for the rest of the other leagues. Goodbye from me. Subscribe to the Twitch if you can. Subscribe onto the YouTube channel where these Twitch streams get uploaded 2 or 3 days after they are streamed. Goodbye everyone, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.